Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It's your daily fix of football chat here on STV. We're delighted to have your company, and the main talking points tonight. Rangers boss Mark Warburton says there are no bids for the striker Martin Waghorn. Congratulations to Dunfermline's League One Manager of the Month, that's Alan Johnson. Dundee United have agreed a loan deal with Celtic for Anthony Stokes, but the player is not keen on a move to Tannadice. And also, well done to Peter Houston. He signed an extension to his deal that will keep him at Falkirk as manager until 2018. That's just a few of the topics we'll be discussing in the company of Alan Ruff and our bookroom guests, respected journalist Hugh MacDonald. So Mark Warburton is out and about today speaking to the assembled members of the press ahead of Rangers' match at the weekend against Livingston, and our reporter Craig Turnbull was out there to listen to what he had to say.
Here at Murray Park today, Rangers boss Mark Warburton was asked about reported interest in St Johnstone's Michael O'Halloran, and this is what he had to say.
You know, we'll go about our business, target the players we think are appropriate for Rangers. If we get the business done, then we'll talk, obviously, but it'd be wrong to talk about any player, any individual club, that's for sure.
And Warburton also denied there'd been any interest in prolific striker Martin Waghorn, though he did say that was signs that the club is making good progress.
There's been no interest in Martin. I don't mean that derogatory to Martin, far from it. Delighted with Martin. That's just a positive. Positive out of any perceived negative is the fact that, you know, players are catching the eye for the right reason.
Yep, I like that last statement there from him because, you know, it's a good sign that players are catching the eye, but there are no bids on this one. How could that story have emerged? Could it have been an agent firing it out at a different area, you know, just to gather a little bit of pace somewhere else?
Yeah, you've been here before, Peter, haven't you? Absolutely. I mean, there's the sort of phrase testing the waters comes to mind, and Waghorn's done enough, I think, to actually sort of start interest in clubs down south.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think, Ruffy, you know, Martin Waghorn is one of those players that maybe could do with maybe another couple of years of gaining experience here before he actually thinks about maybe going back home.
No, I think if you're going to be scoring 25 goals at this moment in time, you'd want to stay another couple of years just to get your CV up there, and Rangers will be a place that he will score goals, he'll get chances, and I've already said that he could possibly maybe get 40 goals this year, so yeah. We'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bet that we've put on at the moment. I've said he won't get 40 goals, not being derogative towards Martin. I just think he might get 39. And if he gets 39, I'll be absolutely delighted, Hugh.
And he's got, but the great thing about him is where Ruffy's got a real chance with his penalties.
Yes.
He's had a lot of penalties.
Do you feel as if I've left myself wide open there to maybe Ruffy winning the bet?
I think so. I think the ghost of Chris Boyd, remember that bit, comes back.
That wine that night, Hugh, was absolutely magnificent. You should have seen Ruffy's face when I opened the restaurant menu, and some of the prices were hefty, but I couldn't do it to him.
The wine is more what I'm more interested in. What was the wine like that?
It was a lot better than Chris Boyd's face when we went down to Kilmarnock to actually record one of the games, and then Peter told him about the bet and he came charging up the stand to let us know that he knew about it, and it was good.
Yeah, it's a good bit of banter. I mean, players do secretly, I think, set themselves little targets here and there, and Martin Waghorn, he's got a sweet left foot on him, he's doing all the right things, and as long as people keep creating chances for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a great position at Rangers because he's a focal point, he's a designated scorer. They're playing really sort of enterprising football. Fullbacks even up the park. I mean, Tavernier gets pulled down in the box twice the other day. I mean, a right fullback. So he's playing in the right position if he wants to score goals. But I always love the thing when strikers say, "Oh, it's not about me and goals." You know, they come off the park. You scored the hat-trick. I'd have been glad if somebody else had scored it, and we just got the 3 points. Nonsense.
Yes, I prefer the Mark McGee attitude to Stephen Pearson getting his hat-trick. No, he had 70 minutes. That's more than enough time. I've scored a hat-trick in a lot less. So that's the best way to look at it. As far as the O'Halloran deal is concerned, this one, I think, is just a wee bit of codology to see if they could test and get him on the cheap.
Yeah, and I think they're miles away on that. I mean, St Johnstone are a really well-run club. I know O'Halloran's deal's running down, but they don't need the money, and I think they're miles away from the valuation of St Johnstone are
Yeah,
putting them.
I think it's good that the clubs like St Johnstone and that are not going to be bullied by the bigger clubs, Rangers and Celtic, who have been poaching a lot of the home-based players, and it's good that they're really sticking their heels in and not letting anybody go until they get the money that they really want.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who those clubs that you're talking about are, because usually when a bigger club comes calling, that's just the first little test to see where the actual line is when you can tempt them away, Hugh.
Yeah, and it looks as if the line is pretty far down for St Johnstone at the moment. I think they want substantially more money. I mean, you're talking about Halal and, you know, coming into international football now. I mean, he's now become a viable international player.
What is he, 300,000, 400,000?
I'd say a bit more than that.
Yeah?
I'd say 500,000. I think he's okay. He's 24, I think. So he's no quite, you know, a right youngster. But he's made real strides, I think, and he's got what's really important at any grade of football is quick.
I'm actually surprised that Celtic haven't moved in there. You know, he's the kind of player that they've been identifying with the Dundee United boys. They certainly need a wide player. James Forrest has been in and out for a wee while, and at that price, I'm sure that would come into Celtic's bracket.
They've certainly had a lot of looks at him. I mean, it's not as if he's gone under the radar, and they've been looking at him for a while. But remember, Celtic were looking at Scott Allen when he was at Dundee United, and said no, we're not interested. And when he went to West Brom and came back up, they had a look at him again, and said no, we're still not interested. And then suddenly went back in when he was available at Hibs. So things might change, and 500,000 is not a huge amount of money for Celtic at the moment.
Yeah, and we like to be on what we call Anthony Stokes' watch, Ruffy. It's not going to be Dundee United, even although they agreed a loan deal with Celtic. The player not keen on that move.
No, I said that yesterday. I think it's all down to him. You know, he's calling the shots here, and again, we're not privileged to see what teams have showed interest in him. But I still think if there's a decent championship club, that's where he'll go. But obviously, if there isn't a championship club, then Hibs would be a great club to go to, because what's going to happen the rest of the season, it's going to be an exciting time. He is going to be in the limelight, and if he's scoring goals. But the big thing is he needs to play, you know, and he has to make his mind up. If he goes to Hibs, is he in there every week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can understand Dundee United making the move for him because, you know, some people are saying, oh, well, they should be trying to get somebody to shut the back door and keep the goals out. But let's be honest about it, Hugh. They're creating chances. They need somebody to convert them other than Billy Mackay.
I mean, that's it. It's Dundee United brackets Billy Mackay in bracket. That's the only score that they've got. Stokes has been very much talked down, you know, over the last 6 months because of the, you know, all the palaver at Celtic and his disciplinary problems. But look at his record. One thing's for sure, he scores goals. He's a great loanee for anybody in the SPFL.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Effie Ambrose? He was talking, obviously, about the fact now that he feels as if he's come through a bad patch. I always have a certain amount of sympathy for players because he has been the scapegoat. Individual mistakes have cost Celtic dear with him, but he reckons he can, you know,
Excuse me.
Now with the support of the players, he reckons he's through that bad patch. Do you buy into it?
Well, Effie's bad patches have got the sort of, it's like an oil slick from the eggs in Valdez, they're that long. You know, I think the problem with Effie is he's a decent player. This guy's played in the African nations, etc. But the problem is his concentration. Yes. And every now and again, he's got this facility to make the absolute big mistake.
Yes.
And he's never managed to get that out of his game.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruffy, do you buy into that there's a way back for him?
Yeah, I think he's a decent footballer. You would think in a Celtic team, you know, 9 times out of 10 he would stroll through games, but unfortunately he's got that calamity bit about him, high-profile calamities, and mentally he's got to try and get that out of his system. I would prefer if he was playing at fullback rather than in a central position. He would take the pressure off him a wee bit there.
Okay, just one thing before we head to the break and start talking about other stories that have emerged today. What about the 2 signings, the extensions to the deal at Rangers for Jason Holt and Andy Halliday? They're tying up some of the younger players. Do you feel that's a strategy then to protect themselves and then maybe look at bigger name players that I think they will undoubtedly need to recruit if they are in the top division? Yeah,
I think the 2 of them are no-brainers. I think 2 of them can definitely play in the top league. I think Holt was the snip of the season coming, and he's proved that. I think good business for Rangers.
Yeah, I think both of them. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they try and move some people on. I think there will be surplus there. It'll be interesting to see who it is.
Okay, we're going to get Hugh MacDonald's thoughts on the clamour for league reconstruction. I'm not quite sure how many people are on board within all the clubs, but we'll get Hugh's thoughts next, as well as talking about Peter Houston. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff and respected journalist Hugh MacDonald here with us on the programme. It just gives you a certain gravitas when I say that, Hugh. I mean, you've served your time.
I've served my time and I've got my court suit on to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look more distinguished in this suit rather than the I've been out on a session with Peter and Ruffy.
This is the not guilty suit.
Exactly. Yeah, Ruffy and I have had that on a few times. Okay, let's cut to another good man in football, and that is, of course, Peter Houston. Signs an extension till 2018. Couldn't think of a more deserving man of an extension, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think Falkirk are the surprise package this year. I think where they're sitting just now has taken everybody by surprise, and I'm sure the manager and the players will believe they can go further. You're on that kind of run, the confidence is high, and I'm sure I don't think I would like to be facing Falkirk just now. Hibs are at the weekend, so that's going to be it's going to be a great game.
Taking a wee while for them to get into their stride, but slowly but surely, when he got to grips with the whole setup at Falkirk, the players started to respond to him.
Yeah, and I think it would take a bit of time to get, because he's trying to set something in place here that's going to be going on for years, a template for the club. Playing in a certain manner, using youth team players coming through as well. And that has difficulties, that has risks as well. So I think, yeah, absolutely did really well at Falkirk. And of course, you're looking at Dundee. I mean, he was only a year ago I would have said, it was daft to leave Dundee United. Well, maybe not now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think you're right, Ruffy. A surprise package. I do like his attitude, though, Hugh. He says if Falkirk win the championship, league reconstruction will happen this summer.
Falkirk have had a piece at that door before, haven't they? I mean, it's just been ridiculous what's happened to them down the years. And league reconstruction, let's not get onto that too much at this point in time, because there's so many problems in Scottish football, and the idea that shuffling the pack a bit is going to help it, I'm not so sure.
Oh, I'm interested in that point, because I definitely don't get a sense that there's any great desire among the top clubs about this league reconstruction. What's your take on that?
I don't think there is either. I think they'll be looking at, the sort of challenges in a business speak, as the chief executives talk about, is not going to be solved by league reconstruction. I think we need more radical efforts at, getting more kids to play, as simple as that, bringing more kids into first teams, and that's the way forward. But again, seeing the commercial world of global football PLC, we're a real backwater now, and we're in real danger of just remaining that way.
Yeah, I think obviously if it is Rangers who come up this year, I think the rest of the Premier clubs will be happy with that situation. I think they'll all be rubbing their hands and saying, right, we're going to get back into the money again. So that's why I don't think if Rangers come up this year there'll be any reconstruction, maybe further down the line. But I think with Rangers coming back, it'll just, and obviously maybe Hibs as well, it was nearly get us back to where we were.
Here's a twist in this one, Hugh. Obviously, there's quite a lot of managers who won't say it publicly, but they're thinking to themselves, OK, in the battle at the bottom, Dundee United look as if they're gone. Dundee United won't be thinking that way. But whoever's going to finish second bottom, are we of the opinion, in the majority of the media, do you think that it would be good to have Rangers and Hibs up and OK, Dundee United gone, and then it's maybe a Kilmarnock? Is that the way?
And maybe a Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I think the season's still got a bit to run. I think Dundee United, my personal point of view, and I said this for about a month, I think they're gone. I think now it's got a bit to run, but now you would think Kilmarnock and Hamilton would be the two teams I think it would be good. And Hamilton's result at Annan would doesn't send the Lamberts goals, it's like a submarine going, it sends the Claxons going. I mean, that's just an awful result. And I would think if you quietly went to any chief executive and said, well, would you swap Hamilton for Hibs? I think the answer would be yes, we'll take that.
Yeah. You're doing well with the analogies tonight. Oil slicks and Claxons.
It's all maritime stuff as well.
It's absolutely magnificent.
I'm all at sea.
Absolutely. Hey, 2 pints of bitter, please, and a chaser for Hugh. The other thing I was going to ask you was, I would say to Dundee United fans, don't lose any faith in what Hugh says, because he had Rangers winning the league by September.
Yep.
You had them out of sight in this one. But, Ruffy, do you see it that way? I mean, do you honestly think that
I think
would it be better for the division if Rangers and Hibs were up?
Of course I would.
Yeah.
Because you'd obviously
at the expense of the other two.
Yeah, because you would have the derby games, the other clubs involved in these derby games would be rubbing their hands. And I think all we've heard about it since Rangers went down the divisions is clubs have been losing revenue, and quite rightly so. And what Rangers bring, not only the football but the large crowds to the away games, and it keeps the clubs on board.
Okay. Other things that I want to get your thoughts on: League One Manager of the Month, Alan Johnston, and well done to him.
I'm really glad for Alan. It's amazing, like the football careers. You can have a situation in a football career where you go somewhere and it doesn't work out, and you can be completely tainted by that and damaged by that. I'm glad to see Alan, after Kilmarnock, has been back down the leagues and proved what a manager he is, because he was brilliant at Queen of the South. So I'm really pleased with him. I've watched him firmly only once live this season, but I thought that he played really enterprising, smashing stuff. So I'm pleased for young Mr. Johnson.
Yes, and it was good that he got back into the game so quickly. We see so many managers losing their job and then falling out of it for a year or two, but it was good that he got in quick. He's still got a nucleus, a lot of young players there, and I looked at the crowd there last week. It was something like 4,500. It was more than I think it was 3 the Premier League games, so we're on the way up.
Yeah, just a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on, the stories that emerged today. Islam Feruz on his way back to Chelsea hasn't really kicked a ball, Hugh, for Hibernian. It's been a real disappointment there for them.
I know, and it's been a disappointment for anybody who had any sort of hopes about a young guy coming through. I mean, it's becoming a cautionary tale, the Islam Feruz tale, where at one time it could have become a real inspirational story. I don't know what happens to him now. I really don't. Not getting. Obviously Hibs are not decided not to play him out of any sense of pique. It's just because he's not been good enough. And from a guy a couple of years ago who was going to be the future of Scottish football, who's going to be a Chelsea centre forward, it's an awful turn down.
Yeah, and I think Islam Feruz and countless others, Ruffy, in Scotland. Now, I understand, I totally get players have to protect themselves long term, think about the money. I absolutely get that, but somewhere along the line, you have to listen to a sound voice who says you might not get a game. I mean, even Alan Archibald on the programme last night talking about Stuart Bannigan, you could go down south and then be lost, and we could rhyme off 10, 20, 30 players who haven't kicked a ball down south and have come back here with the head between their legs.
Yeah, I think the time has come for him to go to a club where he's appreciated, by the manager. We keep hearing about Stokes going up to Inverness because Yogi will put an arm around him. I think he needs to go to a club where he's more settled. Forget about where they are or how big they are. Just get to a club and just get yourself bedded in there and for a couple of years and just concentrate on the football.
Yeah, I meant to say tail between the legs, head between the legs is quite tough. It's just makes you feel just as sick, to be honest with you. That way the penny dropped in my mind there. Okay, a couple of things just to finish then. Stevie Naismith. There's nobody up here that'll be able to afford him, but Swansea are sniffing about him. I'm amazed. He looked as if he was on fire at the start of the season with Everton. Just hasn't been able to get in because of Lukaku.
But this is how brutal that it is at the top level. He scored a hat trick 3 months ago against Chelsea. A hat trick, left, right, header against Chelsea, and now is struggling. I mean, he's got a small injury at the moment, but he's struggling to get on the bench. The problem with Stephen is, I think Everton are now sort of almost spent the money that they've got from him. So it's up to him. He's got to find the best deal he can.
Yep, and the last great line came from Mark McGee, as ever, at a press conference. Always good. No worries for his players being bullied by Hearts at Tynecastle. Game on, bring it on. That's a great way just to light the touch paper, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing about it as well, he's got experienced players in the team that will go to Tynecastle and won't be phased out. McManus, Pearson, MacDonald, Hamill. He's got Lasley. He's got enough experience there to go there and know exactly what it's all about.
Okay, thanks to Hugh MacDonald. If you get a chance, get out to a football game in Scotland this week if you're near, or even if you're a neutral. Is there such a thing in Scotland as a neutral? Get out and support Scottish football. Join us if you can on Saturday. Incidentally, STV Edinburgh, STV Glasgow at 2 o'clock for 4 hours of the football show. Ruffy and myself and Gordon Smith and Frank McAvenny as ever in the chair to keep you up to date with all the goals as they hit the back of the net. Great to speak to Hugh MacDonald on the programme from Ruffy and myself. Join us tomorrow at 7 if you can. Good night.